Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video, where I talk about the real-life Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards people play, and say, does anybody play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore? Does anybody watch the cartoon? But nevertheless, I'm metaphorically and sarcastically comparing the real-life bullshit games, bullshit psychological warfare games that people play, and compare it to Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and explain to you how people will play a card and actually literally at their own convenience create a whole new card when they got nothing on you, but you're not allowed to do it, and you always got to shut up, and they want to limit you pretty much, and in any case, if you want to kind of metaphorically exaggerate it, literally, they want to be able to create all the cards. If it was some kind of a role-playing game, right? They want to have all the cards where they'll have all the full armor and full this and that, and weapons with extra weapon or a spear behind a big old shield, and to be able to get you. But you're literally no armor, no weapons, no. You're supposed to be literally curled up naked in a corner, cringing in a corner, naked in a corner, and they have all the intellectual, psychological, and physical weapons and armor, and that was the name of the game. So, how they use twist logic dishonestly just because they can maybe gather a mob of their buddies and say, and if you outsmart or disprove them, say, oh, and then they'll say, oh, we're your buddy. You get a bunch of people that'll go, oh, we're your buddies. We'll stand with you and stand by you. How dare that son of a bitch think he's all smart and outsmart you? We'll stand with you and stand by you and just play whatever card. But anyway, yeah, this one in my resurrecting of this series. It was a bunch of years old. Somebody out there inspired me to resurrect the series. So, in one of them, in resurrecting this series that I had in the old videos I deleted, I'm going to talk about the hygiene card. How people will pull that card literally out their ass. And if you let people get away with it, they'll have you living in fear, scrubbing your skin until it's raw, washing your hands until they're raw, and you know, no matter how you're stinking of man perfume or aftershave, they make you live in fear. Or certain women, for example, if you want to wear makeup, or if you want to wear it, look like you put it on with a cement trowel, or wear too much of it like you're ready to go on in a street corner somewhere, you know, and want to look like a damn. Not that I'm grouping everybody together, but if they want to play the games, you know, look. What I'm trying to say is, if women do this bullshit, play the hygiene card against other women, okay to wear makeup, right? But it should never, never, never be a mandatory hygiene thing. You know what I mean? It should never be a mandatory thing that is categorized as a hygiene. If you don't wear, say, some people that don't wear makeup, some women that don't wear makeup, like it's supposed to be a mandatory thing you got to do for hygiene. And now anymore, with everybody identifying as this or that, even men, they want to be stinking of men perfume, and they got to wear makeup now, whether it's the people that identify whatever they identify as, or if they're just a simp or some guy. And there's the subject matter where some people, they wear too much of a certain perfume or aftershave that make that the person next to them gets fucking sick and gets a bad headache from being next to them. Very large chemicals that will ruin somebody's lungs, make people sicker than fuck. Oh, but if you don't stink of the shit, uh, there's something wrong with you hygienically. You can't wear something that'll absorb the odor that doesn't have some powerful aroma. It's like everybody's got to outdo everybody. Oh, which I'll talk in parentheses there too. I had a friend, a woman that I used to see that I used years ago. I met a friend, a neighbor of hers, one time. We went over her house, and this woman actually had one of them compulsive fears. It wasn't fear of people thinking she's against hygiene. She had a regular phobia of germs, and she literally washed her hands with soap and everything every fucking minute. Then literally her hands got red and cracked, literally, where I think she actually had to go to a doctor or something. There's people like that, but I'm saying that people that superimpose hygiene standards and raise the hygiene bar up, they'll up the hygiene bar, raise the bar, the hygiene rules, so they can demonize somebody else and literally put people in fear and have them washing their hands so fucking much. And there's a thing now with the people being scared of whatever variant of this pandemic thing going around. You literally had people with hand sanitizer going to the hospital with hand sanitizer because the hand sanitizer, the chemicals in it was poisoning them, and you had young kids, right? Too much alcohol in the hand sanitizer. And a hand sanitizer, it was small kids, I guess. There was evidently enough of alcohol in the hand sanitizer, making them use it that often. They got drunk or something, or there's other kind of perfumes and different kind of things in it. Well, also I'll say in parentheses too, while it's on my mind, I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but there were old clips of what was called the Henry Rollins Show. It was never on TV in my area, but I want to check and see if them videos were ever scrubbed or deleted from the internet. But for nostalgic purposes, there was a thing called the Henry Rollins Show. He talked about political subject matter and mocked certain things, and he had a video where he talked about the fear, the over zealous and crazy fear of germs. And he sarcastically was talking about, plenty of products and different things that people will gladly sell you because you're afraid of germs. And I think he talked about, say, that a lot of things he talked about that I don't want to go. So I'm going to stop myself. I don't want to go on and on off the subject. But yeah, I'm going to check out right now and see if there was any things from that on. But anyway, different categories of people you worked with, in different workplace environments, people would pull this shit. They act just like fucking school kids. It's like next to you in school, okay? Some of them worked in the offices, some of them right next to you. That you'd have the different kind of people, for example, that would talk down about anybody else, the way they're dressed or the way they look some kind of way. And if you disagreed with them about something and made them look stupid when they were trying to make you look stupid, they'd play the hard hygiene card, right? And maybe they're dressed in some are male or female. They may be like a simp or beta male, some kind of either a pink polo shirt with skinny arms or some short sleeve collared shirt that had some goofy stripes, pink and blue stripes in it, really dorky looking shirts, and look like they're avoiding muscle development. Some chubby and skinny, right? Or male or women, overly acting like how domesticated they are. Then you see them out there smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, come on, okay, you're worried about everybody else's body odor or breath when they're working and all that, and they don't stink of some perfume, not like they never take a bath or anything. But you want to tell them, oh, they're smoking, and you when you bring up they're smoking a cigarette, for example, talking about everybody's breath, but they're out there during break smoking a cigarette. If they're so hygienically superior, why ain't they, after they smoking that cigarette, after they at lunch and smoke that cigarette, why ain't they so worried about that their breath smells like an ashtray? You'd think they'd be running into the workplace bathroom, men's room or ladies' room, and brushing their teeth, No, they're not. And if you point that out as a joke, they're like, shut up, like a kid, or just gaslight you, make a big scene, right? And these same people, like said, this was years ago when I worked in a workplace and all that, they'd be talking that shit, and then there'd be this other guy that they're coddling and being all nice to, that their habits ain't the greatest either. There was even people in like not even an office area, like you got the two-faced jumping between cultures outside of the workplace, part tough guy, part simp, drove some fancy truck, right? He'd be anybody he didn't like, he'd be on them about stabbing their back about hygiene, right? And then I literally caught him where outside the workplace he was chewing like snuff or tobacco, right? You see him spitting out there during break, and caught him the water fountain that people drink out of, going take a drink out of the fountain and spitting it in the fountain, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at you. And then they get mad and then they gaslight you for other reasons. I shit you not, you know what I mean? And then there was the person that's the over-domesticated, mostly the office person, male or female. And like, I'm not even knocking people that smoke, because there were people that beards, different things I worked with, they smoked. So anybody that's seen this video this far, or anyone I'm like, calm down. And there was people next to me that smoked. I didn't give a shit. There was even an occasional person that I used to be walking on the work that gave me a ride up there to work. Nice guy, welder. The area smelled like weed a little bit. The better stuff, not that stuff that smells like skunk. But nice guy. He didn't do that shit to people, so it's not smoking. But also, for example, too, like you had people that next to you in workplaces, beards, different hair types, drink and smoke. Some of them were rednecky and some of them were rock and roll. But yet, we know that, right? But then people in this other over-domesticated part, maybe office, would be talking down about or to these other people, right? Like they're so hygienically superior, like they're so domesticated. And you see them here and there, conversations among each other. They went to this party, this wedding with so-and-so, and bragging about how drunk they were. And, they probably stinking of beer and booze and talking about how they could have wrecked into something, driving home drunk when they shouldn't have. Which you only hope if the people in the warehouse that more equal to you, when you worked in a warehouse, they drink and smoke. You don't get into their life, but you only hope that they don't wreck a car or do any shit, you know what I mean? But it's not about the shit they're doing, pointing it out. It's where they're judging other people, you know what I mean? But if you got this far in the video, the reason why these people do this, okay, is because, you see them, smoking outside of work break, Mr. or Mrs. Domesticated, and their breath smells like an ashtray or whatever the hell. And they know you see them, right? And they talk about everybody else's hygiene or whatever the hell. And they do this because they know they figure you're going to be scared of making fun of, oh, look at you, your breath probably smells like an ashtray, or hearing about your stories about so-and-so, how drunk you were. And they think you're afraid to say something because they figured, oh, you're going to gaslight them. They figured they're going to gaslight you, right? If you point it out, they'll gaslight you in front of all your buddies in the workplace that also drink and smoke. You know what I'm saying? That's the card they play. Mr. and Miss Domesticated over here. Some of them, maybe they drink or smoke outside of there, or during break they're smoking, and you hear about they want to act like overgrown 20-year-olds running and drinking or whatever the hell, or smoking. You point that out, they'll gaslight you by trying to embarrass you in front of your buddies right next to you. Some are your friends and some of them ain't. And they'll bring drinking, smoking, and try to get them all mad at you. And some of them succeed in doing that. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have had that, if you got this far in this video, you might have had that ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, or something that did that shit. You know what I mean? Maybe she smokes more packs or cartons of cigarettes than you do. It's not that turn around, like say you're not seeing each other anymore, that's your ex or something, and they'll the minute you're not together no more, they'll pull that shit on you. Everything about you is dirty or whatever the hell. But then they do that shit like overgrown school kids. Fucking school kids do that shit to each other, create fear. But you had grown ass people doing that shit too. And you also have the fucking if it's not the over domesticated clique in a workplace, you'll have the ones right next to you that ain't your buddies. And they know full well they work about whatever they fucking smoke or whatever bars they go to or whatever places they go to pick up 20-year-old girls when they're married guys are going sneaking picking up 20-year-olds or one guy next to you in a workplace that don't like you because he's jealous of you because he got fucking kids all over the place. Maybe he's dodging child support or paying child support from his third wife, and he got fucking kids all over the damn place, and then wants to talk about everybody else. But anyway, you had some of them people right next to you that like a bunch of years ago that were like way older than me. I remember when in my 20s I was working in a warehouse and guys that I work with, there were some of them were in their 50s. Hey, I'm gonna be 50 real soon. But these ones that were judging everybody else, right? They have an ex-wife somewhere. There was a particular guys that would be talking about people. They're literally going to like I'm in Western Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh ain't too far away, right? Some of these guys, right, would have ex-wives, and they're like in their 50s. And this was back when, say, I was younger. I remember working in a warehouse like that. And they're not married to their wife anymore. Some of them are still married. They're going to these fucking bars where the chicks in their mid-20s that are still in college or out of college are going and brag they got themselves a 20-year-old or whatever the hell. And one of them has to be the guy that, get the new girlfriend or fiance to drive them to work so they could show off how they're kissing a fucking 20-year-old right there, Shit, I'm happy with my partner here. I can't see myself being that way. Like, I'm going to be 50 in fucking April. And for example, I couldn't picture myself, say I didn't meet my partner, right? Be some kind of asshole judging everybody else and be like, my age I am now and be going to some fucking bar and drinking and going where I know damn well there's like 21, 22, and 23-year-olds going in and be going looking up to pick up women at that age. What the fuck kind of shit is that? I mean, but looking back on these warehouses I worked with, that's the kind of shit people got into. I'm glad I never did that shit. But like I said, when I was in my 20s, damn near 30s, working in warehouses, there were people older than me, always judging somebody else. They were hypocrites, and that's what the fuck they did. And they had the nerve to act morally superior to somebody else. And look at them. You get them in all damn types. You know what I mean too. They're in all walks of life. They can be a different clique. In a workplace, the over-domesticated, they can be right next to you, act or dress similar to you, and they're pissed off at you, and they have a stick up their ass about something, so they'll pull some kind of hygiene bullshit and all that stuff too. And meanwhile, they drink. They get drunk and throw up every damn fucking night, and they brag about how drunk they were and how they were almost caught drunk driving. And every fucking time and you know what? It sounds like I'm actually exaggerating, and I'm not exaggerating. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, but what I'm telling you is they do the fucking shit on purpose. You know what I mean too? I mean, because you get a couple people with a stick up their ass. One person gets mad at you because you stood up to them some way or you disproved them somehow. So they get their buddies together in a clique And oh yeah, we're your buddies. We'll stand with you and stand by, and we'll say anything you need to say. Well, meanwhile, on the inside, we're filthier than any damn buddy else. Smoke like a chimney or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the way that shit goes. You can go on about that one, but you got the fucking I don't know, you want to call them white leftists, but they weren't called that then, but you had these other ones around it. The perfectly neat and clean, the perfectly neat t-shirts and shorts, whether they were with sleeves all the way down here and baggy or down below the knees, and try to make ourselves wider or bigger, and not the gangsta look or whatever. It's, how the childlike look show off how submissive they are to the designated tougher culture, which is the gangsta culture. You can wear the same type of t-shirts and shirts now, childlike, and walk around like you're tough too. Or you got the other ones with tattoos on their legs and go around with 40-ounce beer and oh, look at me, I'm how badass because I sit on a porch in the cold in t-shirt and shorts, smoking a cigarette or smoking a joint and a 40-ounce beer. But you got perfectly neat t-shirts and shorts, that childlike look or whatever you want to have it, or that simp look, or that or whatever look you have, but no better than anybody else, double standard, you know what I mean? Yeah, really laughable. It's like twisting something for the convenience and of advantage of oneself. Rules for me, but not for you. Rules for thee, not for me. And that sort of shit,